All right, related to what Devin Murugan was reporting to you a bit earlier on, well, President Cyril Ramaphosa is encouraging more trade between South Africa and Kenya. This was discussed during the Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta's three-day state visit. It's on day 2 today. Meanwhile, Ramaphosa and Kenyatta say they hope to have a COVID-19 vaccine for Africans created on the continent. What do these improved relations mean for the two countries? For more on this, I'm joined by Sipho Mantula from the Thabo Mbeki African School on Public and International Affairs, joining me to discuss this matter. Sipho, thank you for your time. The significance of this state visit. The relations between Kenya and South Africa have traversed much ground from the period where, it seemed there were some tensions that were related to whether or not Kenya was as harsh as they could have been against the apartheid regime in those last years of apartheid. We've traversed much ground from then. What does this visit by Uhuru Kenyatta signify, and the kind of conversations that have been happening?
Afternoon, Thulasizwe, even to the viewers. I think, as you have laid that carpet very well about the diplomatic relations during the time of the then PW Botha and the late president, apartheid president who have just died. And again, I will say to you, let's look back 30 years when Nelson Mandela visited Kenya, when he was eager to meet Dedan Kimathi, and both the then government of Arap Moi, they were not so clear about the history of Kenya. But when you look back, look at this visit, Thulasizwe, it is a follow-up of the visit that our Minister of International Relations was in Kenya around August, to just look back at the 5-year agreements that were signed during the presidency of Jacob Zuma. So one can look at that, yes, there is COVID-19, but the diplomatic relations between us and them was that Kenya, as you have said, was not so clear about its role in the OAU Liberation Committee, because it seems it even allowed P.W. Botha to visit Kenya during that time. Arap Moi visited South Africa in 1992.
Sure. So to what extent then do we see a manifestation of warming up and more cordial relationship that says we've moved past those difficulties of the past? Because these are two significant economies on the African continent, and they also fall within, logistically in terms of trade, quite strategic on the east of the continent as well as the south of the continent.
Correctly, but Thulasizwe, look, a decade ago there was that engagement for trade. It was not implemented. It came 2013 and come 2016. But when you look at the current developments, my worry is that Uhuru Kenyatta is going for the third term or the second term next year. So for me, it is not all about Uhuru Kenyatta. It is about our relation with Kenya. How do we strengthen them on issues of people-to-people relation, issues of arts and culture, issues of trade, issues of tourism? But on trade, how do we bring the spin-offs to the local economic business? Because when you look at the companies that are in Kenya, these are your multinationals, these are your big companies, are not small companies that come from this country. And again, we don't find this relation as with Kenya, like I have said, on issues of arts, culture, and heritage, which are very fundamental even when you want to deal with trade. The question of security as well. Kenya is currently the chair, not the chair, it's a member, it's a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council, which is very critical. As Africa is facing conflicts now, for them to come and exchange notes with us as a former member of the United Nations Security Council, that's how it is critical, because we can dwell on trade development, but if we don't deal with issues of conflict resolution, we don't deal with the soft power that I've mentioned earlier of arts, culture, and heritage, then we might be missing the point.
Yeah, absolutely. I love your analysis there, Sipho Mantula. Soft power is the key to it all. But of course, you also rightly highlight the issues of security, given what we have seen in Ethiopia, for example, being one example to cite.